Saludos amigos, Kash here, President and CEO of Real Estate in Las Terrenas.com. Today I've got some precious time that I was able to get from my good friend Vladimir. He is a respected attorney here in Las Terrenas, Dominican Republic, and he happens to work for the biggest law firm in the entire Dominican Republic. Bar none, the best experience I've ever had anywhere, including North America. Guys, a lot of my really good friends back home are attorneys, and I love them. They're great, but the service I received here from Guzman Ariza was bar none, arguably the best I've ever received. The communication, everything about it. So guys, I want to go ahead and introduce Vladimir. He's going to be representing you guys when you come down. We're going to bring you over, and you're going to get to know this man. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Thanks a lot, Kash. Really glad to have the opportunity to share some thoughts about real estate and property ownership in the Dominican Republic with your clients and my future clients, hopefully.
Exactly.
So, and I am really glad to hear about how you express yourself about us, and that you're happy with the service you have received from us already.
Service.
And I'm looking forward to give exactly that to all of your other clients.
That's amazing. Thank you, Vladimir. And I completely have 110% faith that you're going to deliver on the same way you deliver with me for any of our clients back home in Canada and the U.S. So Vladimir, tell me a couple things about Guzman Ariza, one of the biggest firms in the Dominican Republic, highly respected. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Guzman Ariza is the biggest law firm in the Dominican Republic. Not only because of the amount of attorneys, but the
How many
amount,
attorneys do you have?
over 50 already.
Oh, wow.
But it's not the amount of attorneys what makes us big, because there are some other corporate law firms in the Dominican Republic, but all of them are based in Santo Domingo, and in Santo Domingo only.
I see.
But what makes Guzman Ariza different is that we're all over the country. We have 8 offices all over the country. We're the only corporate law firm in the entire country that has so many offices all over the country.
Great.
They are located in Las Terrenas, Samaná, Sosúa, Cabrera, Santo Domingo,
Okay.
Punta Cana, La Romana, and we recently opened the 8th one in Casa de Campo.
Oh, Casa
So
de Campo.
yeah, so
Wow, that's
as you
amazing.
see, all of them are based on touristic places,
Yes,
such
yes.
as Sosúa. We have 3 in the east, 2 here in this province, because even though we can provide services in over 30 different areas of law, our main focus is real estate, investments, and corporate law.
That's amazing. That's great to know. So Vladimir touched on, they're really focused on the tourist areas. I think as far as my viewers are concerned, that is what we're looking for. We're looking for a lawyer that is well versed in English, as you can see, that understands the needs of somebody coming in from out of the country, a tourist, that wants to invest into a country. So this law firm has, their roots is they're well versed in that sort of a transaction. Amazing, very important to know.
Yeah. So and not only English, because perhaps that most of your clients are coming from North America,
True.
Canada, the United States, but just if by chance you have clients from any other place in the world, it's important that you know that in Guzman Ariza we collectively speak 11 languages.
Wow, that's not
So
amazing. That's
we
awesome.
have attorneys here that speak French, Italian, even Russian.
That is amazing.
So
That's not something you're getting in Canada, guys. I'm sorry.
So
You guys, we're lucky if we get the French and English, right? Maybe we throw in some Spanish, but not 11 languages.
yeah,
That's
yeah, and it's not that they have learned the language. We have attorneys from all over the world working for us.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, we have attorneys from Italy, born and that studied in Italy, from Russia, and now
Oh,
they
right.
decided to come and to the Dominican Republic, join the firm, and they're with us.
Isn't that something else?
Yeah,
That's
so we
amazing.
have, it's not only Dominicans attorney, we have attorneys from some other places in the world, and that is what is giving us the advantage to provide the service in so many languages.
And you know what? I think that's really important because you're getting a knowledge base of so many different attorneys from all over the world, experience in real estate. You're not going to get that anywhere else. I'm going to say anywhere else in the Dominican Republic. I don't know how you get that anywhere else in the world where so many different languages and brain power is put into one resource.
Yeah. And also, because, you know, something that happens when a client wants to invest, one of the reasons why they probably hesitate a little bit is precisely because they don't have someone that works, that can work with them and speak their language.
100%.
But if, for example, a random guy from Russia comes to Punta Cana and decides to purchase,
Las Terrenas,
or I'm just putting an example,
I'm joking.
But and he insists that he's there and there is one attorney that speaks Russian,
Of course.
and he's from Russia, and find someone from their country that can speak their language, they feel much more comfortable.
I totally agree.
So when you have someone that can explain things in your language in a simple way that you can understand it, when you have someone from Canada or the United States coming to Las Terrenas and they have this office, they have Vladimir, they have Kash,
Yes, exactly.
that can speak the language and say, look, this is how things are, and it's something that clients really appreciate. Something that I have to tell.
I think you're going to touch on what I was going to say. All contracts are
Yeah,
in Spanish here.
yeah, they have to be in
Very
Spanish,
important, yes.
because in order that a notary can certify it, they have to be in Spanish.
Exactly.
Just like, for example, in Canada, you have to draft it in your official language. Here, our Dominican Constitution says that the official language is Spanish, therefore, documents must
Totally
be
makes
drafted in
sense.
Spanish. But if by chance one of the clients wants a copy, we can provide the translation service
Yes.
in order that the client knows what is signing, and we can actually sign the translation as an attachment of the agreement if the
Oh, that's
client
great.
wants.
I see what you're saying.
So
As an addendum.
that's so something I wanted to say, because again, I mentioned a guy from Russia or Punta Cana just to put an example.
Of course.
But of course, I'm based here in the Las Terrenas office, and it's where I am working the most. And something I want to say is that in the past, we had a big majority of clients coming from Europe, mostly from France.
Yes.
And every year we make the statistics and see where are our clients coming from, and we see if they are either growing or some. And I am really glad to see that people from both Canada and the United States
Yes.
have been the ones that are growing the most in the last 5 years.
Yes.
So every single year we have more clients from those two countries than what we had the year before.
Yes.
Which means that people from both the United States and Canada are having more and more interest to invest in Las Terrenas, and it means that everything that they are, thanks to people like you that are promoting this
course.
little piece of heaven
Yes.
on earth, they are discovering Las Terrenas, and right now, as you know, the
That's what's selling all
market
the
is.
And you know what I think it is? I think it's the discovery phase, but I also feel that there's faith. They're having faith in the system, and they
Yeah.
feel that it's not only paradise, which it is.
Yeah.
Beaches, mountains, everything you need, 10 different beaches, absolutely paradise. However, it's more so the system, the legal system, that makes you feel protected when you purchase property. And I'm going to have Vladimir just talk for a few minutes about how in Las Terrenas, specifically Dominican Republic as a whole, you get your title. It is your title. You own that property, your piece of paper. Nobody can take that away from you. That's so, so, so important. He'll touch on that for you really quick.
Yes. For on regards of the title, I will explain it a little bit because it's different here than in some other countries. For example, in Italy, just to put an example,
Okay.
certificate of title do not exist there.
Okay.
And there is some other countries that you buy a property, you use it, but the government is always like the actual owner of
Oh,
the
wow.
of the.
I didn't understand that.
But here in the Dominican Republic, you get one certificate of title that attests your ownership on the property that you purchase. So, and the process, in principle, is very simple. Like, it's important that everyone watching understand that you just need basically two things to purchase a property in the DR: the decision to purchase and your passport. That's enough.
That's amazing.
You don't have to become a resident or to. It's a very simple process. When you do, you select the property through the broker,
Yes.
Kash, and then you hire an attorney to represent you in the transaction. And the steps are the following. Usually, a preliminary agreement or a promise of sale is signed within the acceptance of the offer of purchase. And then, unless it's a pre-construction deal with a deal that will be long for a year, 2 years, if it's a property that's already built or a piece of land, usually they are 1 to 2 month transaction, because the process is simple and doesn't last long. So when you sign that first a promise of sale, usually perhaps within a month and a half at the most, is enough to perform the due diligence, which is the process to make the verifications of on the property's certificate of title, just to make sure that the title is free of mortgages, taxes, litigations.
Can I ask you a quick question on that. When you mentioned after signing the promise of sale, it's a month and a half to 2 months. So maybe you can clarify for everyone. After I sign the promise of sale on a piece of land or a new, not pre-construction, but a new property, and I leave and go back home, once I've signed that promise of sale, that property is mine.
No, not necessarily. Because a promise, what usually the promise of sale does, is that takes the property out of the market.
Got it, okay.
And the client usually makes a payment of 10% that, depending on the deal, it could either go directly to the seller or it could remain in escrow.
Okay.
Because as you know, we have escrow accounts all over the world, including the United States, just to make it easier to the clients to bring the funds and the wires to.
And
so
I've utilized their services.
Yeah.
It's so simple, it's so easy, it's quick. Via Miami.
So what usually happens is you sign a promise of sale, you put 10% in escrow, property is out of the market, you get the guarantee that it's going to be yours within, let's say that the closing is scheduled for 1 month. Then in that promise of sale, the seller assumes the obligation to, I'm just putting an example, it doesn't have to be like that, but it's mostly how it is. The seller assumes the obligation to sell to you within a month, and all that is stated in the contract. And if he does not, you get your 10% back, and he gets penalized with 10% if he sells to someone else.
Of course.
But if usually, as a buyer, if you go back on your word and you don't purchase, you lose the deposit of the 10%. So basically, the promise of sale is just that, to put something up in order that the agreement is formalized.
Yes.
You see, in writing. But you don't get, again, unless it's a very particular case, usually you don't get possession of the property at that time. You have to perform due diligence, and within a month, you close a month, but it could very well be done in just a few weeks, 2 or 3.
Yes.
And then after you have made sure that everything is okay with the property's title, that it doesn't have mortgages, litigations, or taxes, anything, then you proceed to the closing, you pay to the seller the balance for the purchase price of the purchase, and we sign the final deed of sale, which is when the seller gets paid in full, the buyer gets the possession of the property as well as the property's certificate of title at that time.
Got it.
And then it will just be a matter of transferring the property's certificate of title after the payment of the transfer taxes, which is just 3% of the purchase price.
Exactly.
So a few weeks after you have closed the deal, you get possession of the property, you get the title, then switching it, which is something that us, as the attorneys of the buyer would do, will be a matter of a few other weeks.
Got it. So that makes sense. So Vladimir was looking at a scenario of if you want to pull something off the market, you put your 10% or whatever is agreed upon. What about the scenario if somebody says, I love this house, I'm buying it all cash tomorrow? What happens there?
Look, it's not that it's impossible, but it's risky because we can't perform due diligence in 24 hours.
Okay. Perfect.
Because it's, to be honest, buying a property is not like going to the supermarket and saying, I want a beer.
Yeah,
Here,
exactly.
you take it, you pay for it. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in those cases, there are ways to speed things up a little bit and try to make the deal happen very quickly. But in the best scenario, it will take at least a week to do it. But it's important to know to let the clients know that, because most of your clients and my clients are people that come here and they can't stay for as long as the process lasts.
Of course.
So if it's going to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks and they came for 3 or 4 to see and select the property that they want, what do? Then we sign a power of attorney. It could be in my favor or at your favor, or at the name of a third party that the buyers select, in order that that person can sign the paperwork on behalf of the buyer in case that it is someone, and it happens in 90% of the cases. So they need someone to on their behalf to sign, but it's not something that clients should worry about, because usually our powers of attorney are very simple documents, one page, and specifically to represent them in that purchase.
So what Vladimir is saying there, and I've had experience with it with numerous people as well, it's very normal because typically people are coming for 7 days, 14 days. They're not coming for 6-7 months like me or the rest of your life. But in that scenario, they find something they really like. They decide they want to buy it. To formalize the final document, needs a signature. They issue a power of attorney either to them or to the agent or someone they trust, and the transaction gets formalized, title shifted, money done. So it's very normal. It's a very normal process. But I would only use a law firm that you fully trust. My recommendation is these guys when you're doing power of attorney or anything like that.
Yeah. And again, it could be at our favor or at your favor, because you're staying here, and sometimes we are a team.
Of course.
But it's up to the buyer, and for us it's the same.
Exactly.
It could either be signed by you or by me, but it is only for those cases that the client is not. And again, it's not that we're going to sign and do things our way, because let's say they come, they leave us their passports and the power of attorney, return to their country and wire the 10% to get the property out of the market. But it doesn't mean that we're going to do things our way, because when we draft the contract and we do everything, we send it to the client, and if required, we send them the translation as well. This is what we have. This is the contract. We inform them very detailedly of every single step that we go with the process, and ask for that authorization to sign. It's not that we just do whatever we want because we have a power of attorney signed.
On that note, what Vladimir is saying is the communication is amazing between clients. So I've had some clients here where we've actually set up a WhatsApp conversation between myself, Vladimir, and the client, and we all communicate. And the communication flows freely. It's not that you sign a paper, you leave, go home, and that's it. No, we're constantly talking, communicating, questions from the buyer, questions from the attorney, answers. It goes back and forth. So it's a lot more unique, Vladimir, here. The communication flows much better than back home in Canada. And again, no offense to any attorney friends back home, but it's easy to communicate.
And most importantly, in their language. Because for example, again, a power of attorney or a contract will be signed in Spanish because the regulation
for it to be legal. Spanish.
But everything else, emails, the fee proposals, and everything regarding the process that does not have to be in Spanish will be in English. So it will be the communication will be very fluent, but most importantly in the client's language.
Yes, so important. Guys, we're back with Vladimir. Part 2 of this Meet Guzman Ariza special edition that we're bringing you guys. I think you guys are really going to get a lot of valuable information. I guarantee you're going to watch this over and over and over, and you're going to share it with your friends. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I really appreciate Vladimir taking the time out of his busy day to chat with us. So, the final part of this, we're going to dive into something that maybe you guys have heard about if you've done your research. I know my buyers are intelligent people, they're like-minded, they're out there on Google, they're researching. So I know you've come across, or you should have, Confotur. Confotur is a very special incentive for you guys when you're looking to buy. It's actually part of the Constitution, Section 158-01,
Yeah.
and I'm going to let the man tell you exactly what it's all about, because you need to know this.
Yeah, well, the Confotur law was designed, as you said, to create incentives to developers. So, since the Dominican Republic is a country that is growing and we want to grow even more, we want to have people investing here. So this regulation gives the advantage to some developers to build and bring building materials without paying taxes, but most importantly for buyers of those units in those condos to buy those properties without paying the 3% tax that I was speaking about in the previous video. So if you select one of the properties, one property that has Confotur, which means no taxes, you will just pay the property's value and that will be it, because you will not have to pay the 3% of the purchase price to transfer the title at your name. And not only that, you're supposed to pay a property tax every year for all the properties with the amount above $140,000, which means that if, for example, you buy a property of $400,000, then you should pay taxes on $260,000. That which will be like $2,600.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you buy
1%,
but
tax above and beyond 140.
But if you buy with a property in Confotur, you will not pay that tax for 15 years. So basically, all you pay is the legal fees and what the property is going to cost you.
So far we've got no transfer fees, save 3%. Any transfer of title is 3%, so you're saving that with Confotur. Number 2 is no property tax for 15 years.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah, if you are buying the property as an investment and you join the rental agreement with the developer, you will not also pay taxes on the rental, on the income that the property is going to give you, because as you know, there is many people buying places to live, but also as an investment,
of course,
to rent them. And that is another advantage that the Confotur regulation.
Can I ask you a question on what you just said there? Is if they're not part of the rental pool, but they're renting Airbnb on their own, same things apply?
No, if you do it on your own, then you'll have to pay.
Okay, so I'm glad this is a really good conversation we're having, because I wasn't personally that clear on that. I thought that it was on any rental if it's a Confotur.
No.
So you must be part of that rental pool, which is typically 80-20 split between the developer and the purchaser.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a variance there, but that's what I'm seeing with everybody.
Yeah, it's usually 80-20.
It's usually 80-20. So that 80% profit that you're making on renting, tax-free for, again, 15 years. But you must be in that rental pool.
Yes. So there are still at this point not the Confotur projects. There are a lot, but they are still not the majority, because people are still getting used to that regulation.
Yes.
But every single time we're having more and more and more developers building projects and applying for this benefit, because it's very convenient, both the developer and the buyer. So I would expect that in a matter of just a few years we have
70% projects are Confotur.
Probably not that much, but I expect them to exponentially grow. And again, the ones we have right now are much more than the ones we had 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
And so I believe that it will remain like that for the years to come.
Now, one more question on Confotur, if you can elaborate. I've heard that also for 15 years there is an added incentive, which is if I sell my property within 15 years and say I bought it for 100,000 and I sell it for 200,000, that gain is tax free as well for 15 years. Is that true?
Well, right now it's tax free regardless. You don't necessarily have to have a property under Confotur. If you buy a property
And
right
you
now and you
experience
resell it, yeah.
Okay,
Eventually, it's probably not going to be like that. But right now,
Okay.
whoever that buys a property and resells it for $100,000 more is not going to pay tax.
Confotur,
Yeah, no,
I see.
Confotur.
Okay, so that's good to know. That's overall just an advantage of purchasing property
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
Las Terrenas or Dominican Republic. So Confotur, it's something really important. We encourage you guys to do your research as well. Obviously, Vladimir will be here to answer any questions when you guys come in related to your properties. But it is a great way to incentivize tourism dollars coming into Las Terrenas, right?
Yeah. So and it's working because
Yes.
every single time we are making more and more investments, but the market has been so hot lately, regardless of the pandemic, that even though we have a lot of pre-construction projects, as you know,
Yes, I
because
know.
you have most of them listed in
Yes.
your
On our website.
but again, they are not enough to cover the demand. Most of the projects.
Bang on, yes.
Most of the projects that are here in Las Terrenas, including the two in which you have personally
Yes.
purchased, were sold out before they are even finished, and that is the case of
Every single
90% of at least
Yeah.
because everything is selling like this, and even though the market is really good right now,
I think we're just starting.
they are not
We're just
building
starting.
enough to cover the demand. People is demanding more units than developers can build right now in Las Terrenas, which is good for people thinking not probably of only coming to buy a house or an apartment, but also good news for someone who's probably thinking of buying a piece of land to develop a project, because we represent developers
Exactly.
as well, not only people purchasing
Yes.
things for their personal use or to
Exactly.
rent. We represent developers as
There's a
well.
lot
So
of
in
business
case,
opportunities.
in case there is someone out there that is thinking about it and is looking for an opportunity to invest here in the Dominican Republic, there's not a better spot to do it right now than Las Terrenas, because everything is selling
Everything
like this.
is. And it's not I know sometimes people ask me, is it a bubble? Is it going to last? I tell them it's absolutely not a bubble. It's not what's happening in North America over here. I don't know how much you guys know. If you've done your research, you know Santo Domingo is only an hour and a half away from here by car. It's a 4-lane highway. It's a beautiful road. People in Santo Domingo never really understood Las Terrenas existed until only a couple of years ago. So that market is driving this market as well. So people flying into the country is one element, but internally, Dominican Republic is so strong, and there's so many people that want to come to Las Terrenas that are from the Dominican Republic. That's driving this market forward, and it's not going to stop because planes stop.
Could you believe that me, Vladimir, what you say is so true? In my case, is an example. I'm going to tell you something that you don't know. I came for the first time to Las Terrenas in my 20s.
Wow.
I didn't know, and I've lived here in this country my entire life, but I came for the first time in my 20s. But now I live here, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying.
And you know what? And now I live here, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying because it's really that beautiful.
Yeah,
There's so
it
much
usually
going on.
happens to everyone. That Las Terrenas. You usually come for a visit, but then you don't want to leave.
There's sun and there's beaches, but there's something so unique about Las Terrenas. It's a working city. All the amenities you need. Santo Domingo's so close. 10 different beaches, the mountains, just multiple schools, people from Italy, France.
And it's a
So
unique
much.
it's a unique atmosphere
It's
here in
unique.
Las Terrenas.
Yes.
And you have to the ones who have visited know what I'm talking about, and the ones who plan to visit it will know what I'm talking about
Yes, you're
when
right.
they do. Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
100%. So guys, we really, that was great on Confotur, great analysis of the market. And then I think the final thing maybe we'll chat about is when you come down here, and I guarantee I'm going to find you the perfect property, either myself or working with different colleagues, we're going to find you something great. And when you want to buy it, what is the next step? So you say, Kash, I love it, I want it. What now?
To hire an attorney. And it is very important because, for example, there are some places in the world, including some states of the United States, that you don't need an attorney at all to take care of. Yeah, there are places that only the realtor takes care of everything regarding the title.
Actually, the USA is like that. I was talking to somebody in the US.
Yeah. But here, the brokers only list the properties and sell it. But it's the attorney, the one that is in charge to make all the diligences to grant the client a safe purchase. So in order that you have a safe transaction, in order that you have a safe contract.
Define safe transaction. I'm asking Vladimir to define a safe transaction.
Well, a safe transaction because, for example, here a broker lists properties and sells, but it's an attorney thing to obtain the certifications I previously spoke about to make sure that the property is free of mortgages, litigations, or any other kind of third-party rights. And also to negotiate a fair contract with the developer of the project or the seller of the property that the buyer is going to buy. So it's the most important decision after selecting the property that you will purchase is who will represent you in the purchase, because again, unlike in other places that the brokers take care of absolutely everything, here it's a teamwork between the broker and the attorney. So it's really important that you have legal representation if you are going to make any investments, not only here in Las Terrenas, but anywhere else in the country. This video is, if we could still talking about property ownership, LLCs, or any other things for hours, but probably it will take too long because we can spend hours and hours speaking about it. So by now, what I'm going to say is that we have this guide that you have in your hand, and we have it in all.
I want you guys to read this really quick so you can get a feel. So this is a guide that is put together by this firm right here. Okay, see how it's binded, how many pages we got. Like this is a legitimate.
And we have it in PDF, and everyone who wants
website, right?
Can request it to you or me, or visit our website, which is www.drlawyer.com.
I'm gonna stick that on the bottom of the screen for you guys here.
And it's also in every single language, even in Chinese.
Oh wow!
In Chinese, so we have translated in any language. And I mentioned the guide because again, it will take hours for us to give to the clients all the details. And so this, in case they would like to find more info, they can go to our website and download the guide, and it's absolutely free.
Nice.
Or request it to you directly, to me, however.
You know what, guys? I got actually, as Vladimir touched on that, there's so many elements of Las Terrenas, legal, and then market opportunities, and all that other stuff. What I think I'm going to do here right now in person is we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to coordinate a get-together once a week for 10 minutes, and we're going to pick a topic, and we're going to pick it based on the comments below. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you want to know. We're going to sit down. We'll try to sit down every Friday. Maybe we'll grab a beer at the same time. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
You guys join us for a beer. We're going to grab a beer, and we're going to sit down on a Friday afternoon, and we're going to, you tell us what you want us to talk about, and we'll throw some topics at you.
Write in your comments below the questions that you want Kash to make me in our next video. And I'm really looking forward for it.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, that's why I said I referred them to the guide, because if we keep speaking about the investments, property ownership, LLCs, I think our next video should be definitely about the LLCs and the advantages of owning property with 100%. LLCs in the country. So
I've actually personally done that as well with these guys. So I think that's going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be our next video.
We could even pull in some of your other experts, like your residency people and some of
our sure.
Guys, I think we're on to something big here. CNN, here we come. Watch out. All right, guys. So I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate Vladimir's time.
You're welcome, Kash.
We're looking forward to having you come down and join us. WhatsApp me. You got my number. Send us an email. We're here for you. guys. This is everything that we're doing here is about lifestyle and about quality of life. So remember, guys, love where you live. Life is too short. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.